Hi everyone, and welcome to the first of our new videos that will be coming out as part of our weekly emails to all of you for our new YouTube channel called My ND Place. Each of the videos will go through something that maybe has crossed our path over the week about a problem that a parent may have had, or a comment that's really made us think about, or we've got something that we can share here that might be really useful for you. This week we had someone ask me how I managed when my children were small and whether it all went according to plan, and I'm pleased to tell you that it really didn't. So just like yourself, we are living at home with autism in every possible way you could imagine, and also ADHD. And the first big thing for me was a real turning point around how I as a mum was the one that had to really sort myself out and get my act together. There was a particular day where I was pregnant with our youngest, and we had Tom, who's our middle son, who's the most severely autistic of my children, and he was in a buggy with about 3 or 4 different sets of reins on, I would imagine, because he was the biggest escape artist known to man, and I couldn't trust him to stay in the buggy. He would have crawled out and wandered off. And my daughter walking beside the buggy, and we'd gone out for the afternoon just to get out of the house and to clear my head and give them some fresh air, and we'd walked into town and were planning on walking home through the park to get back to the house. And as I was getting close to the park entrance, there was a local church, and they'd got a coffee afternoon on. So I said to my daughter, look, why don't we go in and sit down and have a drink and something before we sort of walk through the park and go home. So I was sitting next to her with Tom still in the buggy, and chatting to her. She often would get left out of things. Life was quite hectic at that time. I used to get quite tired, and because I was quite scatty and not necessarily the best organised person, which I now know is down to an ADHD diagnosis, which I wouldn't have known back then at all. But I was constantly having to juggle and work my space out. And so the fact that I'd actually got a few minutes to sit and have a chat with my daughter and just check in with her and have a drink, and while Tom was confined to the buggy and at that point was reasonably quiet, was a real bonus. Unbeknown to both of us, Tom had sat and demolished an entire plate of bourbon biscuits, which most of you will know was probably not the best thing he could have eaten by any stretch of the imagination, and that we were going to pay the price for that sort of further down the line. Well, we walked home. Tom was quite lively in the buggy going back through the park, as you can imagine. And by the time we got home and had let Tom out of the buggy, it was like letting someone out and for a race, really. He started running around the garden, running around the house, and we reached a point where Tom was in the kitchen, and he would have been probably about 3 at the time, I would imagine, and was climbing on the worktops and climbing on not just the lower worktops where the sink and everything is, but also the tops of the units that were on the wall. He crawled up them like a monkey and was literally crawling along the top. And I've got Lucy sitting in the middle of the kitchen floor going, oh, Mum, I just wanted to stop, crying her eyes out. And I was sitting beside her crying my eyes out too, going, I want to stop as well. I'm not like in a happy place with this at all. And having sort of sorted everything out and got it sorted and calmed everything down, I sat down and thought, do you know what? I've got to sort this out. I can't carry on in this situation for my children, for me, the fact that I've got another baby on the way, and I'd got to get my act together, put my big girl pants on and sort myself out. And so came up with a plan of what I could do. My initial thought was, we can't keep on as we are. We can't keep doing what we're doing, or nothing's going to change, and it has the potential to get worse, not better. Back then, in the early 90s, the knowledge around autism and how to manage that was fairly limited. There wasn't much about what it was that we needed to do. So all of us were learning together. But I'd come from a professional youth work background, was still working in that space at that point actually, and at the end of every youth work session, as those of you in that field will know, you sit and evaluate the session, and you sit down and you think, so what worked tonight, what didn't, are there things that we need to think about, any concerns, etc, etc. So that's what I did. At the end of every day, I evaluated the day. What worked today? What hadn't worked today? What do I need to change? What do I need to stop doing? Because actually that just caused a major kerfuffle, and we all felt awful afterwards. Like, giving a child a plate full of bourbon biscuits is not a good idea. All right. So even though it was keeping him quiet, he wasn't quiet for long, I can assure you, in every possible sense of the word. So that's how we've moved forward, not only in how I worked as a mum and trying to support my family, and for my husband and I to work together with that, but also, if I'm honest, how we also run My ND Place is about reflection. And so what's working for families, what isn't working for flavours, what do we need to do here to change? So have a think about it. Have a think about how you could start doing that at home. Do you need to start doing a reflection thing for yourself? Do you need to stop, just keep doing the same thing because actually it's not working? And you may be struggling to work out what to do next or what to do differently, in which case that's what we're here for, to get in touch with us, and we'll see what we can do to help you. We can help you wherever you live in the world, wherever you are. We can connect with you and find a way through that. All you've got to do is just give us an email or go through with us on the messages under the video on the YouTube channel, and we will do our best to help you. So have a go, see how you get on. If you get stuck, get in contact us, and we'll speak to you again next week. Take care. Bye.